Welcome to Psychic Insights, where pop culture meets higher consciousness and the tea is always a little bit mystical. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and around here we don't just watch the drama unfold, we read the energy behind it, whether it's celebrity scandals, reality TV, chaos, or true crime with a twist. I'm tuning in to bring you the intuitive scoop the headlines miss. So buckle up, because your aura's about to get entertained. Welcome back to my channel. It's Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and we're talking about this week's episode of The Golden Bachelor, The Women Tell All, which is usually one of my favorite episodes. You know what? There are some moments of grace, heartbreak, and there was a few moments where I was just like, what the actual hell is happening here? Now, you know, if you've been watching my channel and my episodes on The Golden Bachelor, I'm not a fan of their selection this year of The Golden Bachelor. So I personally can't wait for this season to end. Okay. If you watch The Old People this week, the men, they call him the Golden Grifter, and I agree. All right. You know what? Let's get into it. We're going to break down the energy, the emotional truth, and lessons that every woman over a certain age needs to hear from this episode. And let's talk about what really happened beneath the TV smiles. So, my heart really broke for Debbie. You could feel how open she was, how genuine she is, and that she might find love again. And when she talked about believing it could happen, there was such honesty in her eyes. But what hit me the hardest was she didn't blame Mel. She didn't attack. She just wished she had a little bit more time. And that's the energy of someone who's doing her work and someone who's healed enough to hope. And for all my dating after a certain age sisters out there, remember, vulnerability is not weakness. Debbie modeled that strength can be soft, and you don't have to harden yourself to protect yourself. You just have to know your worth. And then there was Cheryl, and she was reflecting on the magical Queen Mary date. The sparkle in her voice was real, and she really believed that she found her person. But when she said she should have been more flirty, my heart sank. Because how many of us out there have done that? Replayed a connection and thought, well, maybe if I had done something different, maybe if I had done more, maybe if I had done this or that. And no, Cheryl, you didn't lose him because you weren't enough. You lost him because he wasn't meant for you. A friend of mine told me a long time ago, and I've taken this to heart. If he's your beloved, there's nothing you can do to mess it up. And if he's not, there's nothing you can do to make it happen. You don't ever have to shape shift to be loved. You only need to stay true to the woman that you've become. And a lot of us women were trained to be pleasing to men. No more. Be pleasing to yourself. One of my favorite moments came from the group's laughter and honesty, and when the women talked about the friendships they built, all about cheering each other on, that was real. And Robin called it a love story of friendship, and that's exactly what it was. They weren't competing for Mel. They were rewriting what midlife sisterhood looks like on TV. And there was humor, teasing, and heart, the kind of feminine support that makes you believe again in women lifting each other up. Now let's talk about Nicole. She came in strong, confident, outspoken, and sure of herself. But somewhere along the line, she crossed the line into performance. And when she started defending herself about the lemon bars, the whole trailblazer talk, it felt like she was trying to prove instead of connect. And I think at her age, she has some work to do, and as we all do. And Debbie, bless her, called her out in the most grounded way, reminded her that empowerment without empathy isn't true strength. I think Nicole's learning that lesson. that real confidence doesn't need to broadcast itself. It's quiet, secure, and rooted. And I can see Nicole doing some big things. Just like Kathy from the first season, who really showed up as the villain, I think Nicole, too, can take her villain story and shift it into something positive. So I'm rooting for you, Nicole. Now, something that we didn't see that totally pissed me off, I'll be honest, was they didn't talk to Carol. Carol left the show on her own terms, gracefully, powerfully, without bitterness. That's self-respect in action. And at our age, knowing when to walk away is powerful. And it's probably as powerful as when to say yes. Carol showed every woman watching that choosing yourself isn't quitting, it's leadership. She is my queen. And should the producers ever find this video, you need her as the Golden Bachelor. You need her. Not these pick-me girls, okay? And I'm sorry to say that. I have done a lot of work on myself. And now it's just like, you know what? I would have walked away too. So there we go. All right. Then came the comedian. Really, did we need him? No, we didn't. I don't know about you, but the word that comes to mind is cringe. And it looked like it from the audience's faces. You could see the discomfort. Then we got to see a scene with Robin, who was so uncomfortable. You know what? The roast was supposed to be a celebration of mature love, not a punchline. And it reminded me how often that women laugh through discomfort just to keep the peace. Now, Robin, you know, I know you were on a show and you had to do whatever you had to do, but still, yikes. The vibe was off with him, and I just felt like, humor is healing when it's kind, and this wasn't. All right. Then we had Mel finally join the stage. And his energy says it all. Polite, composed, but closed. He thanked everyone, shared pleasant words, but there was no emotional depth. No real vulnerability. And that's been the story this season. Mel wants love, but he is not ready to feel love. He's living from the neck up, let's face it. Logical, cautious, polished, instead of from the heart. Until he lets himself be messy, he'll keep repeating patterns that look like connection but feel like distance. He clearly was not ready for this experience. Because you can't experience deep intimacy with the walls still up. All right, so then I pulled some cards for the remaining two, which are Peg and Cindy. And I pulled Anchor, Book, Fox, Path, Coffin, Ship, Cross, and Key. All right, well, the anchor and the book say both women are integrating their lessons, grounded, wiser, more self-aware. And the Fox and Path show discernment. They're trusting intuition over infatuation. The Coffin and Ship reveal endings leading to movement, transformation, and healing through release. And the Cross with the Key, that's divine timing. It's the universe saying this chapter is closing, but something sacred is unlocking next. And both Peg and Cindy are stepping into new beginnings, not endings. So this women tell all wasn't really about Mel. It was about reflection. And Debbie showed us how to stay open. Cheryl reminded us not to self-blame. Nicole gave us a lesson in ego versus empathy. And Carol, the silent queen, reminded us that walking away can be sacred. And Mel, well, he reflected what so many women face. Men who are good on paper, but emotionally unavailable in practice. And that's why I say whoever he ends up, I hope they both do the inner work first, because chemistry fades, but consciousness sustains. So what did you feel about watching this one? Did you cry for Debbie, cringe at the roast, or feel proud of the women who stood in their truth? Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I love hearing your perspectives. And remember, whether you're dating or just healing, you never have to change to be loved. You just have to stay real enough to attract someone who meets you there. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, reminding you that love isn't about being chosen. It's about being seen. And I'll see you next week for more energy, insight, and real talk. And I don't know about you, but I'm ready for this season to end. And I'll see you in the next one.